Hey guys, I hope you guys are doing great. In this video, I'm going to go over safety chains. Do they cut good, fast, slow? What's going on with them? And what even is that? What even is safety chain? So I'm gonna go over that. Let's get into the video here. Safety chain. So what I got going is I'm gonna do 4 tests. Sorry, they're out of order because I was thinking out loud, So I'm gonna do a stock chain, and this is a full house safety chain. So I'm gonna do stock out of the box. Then I'm gonna do safety part. I'm gonna cut off the safety part of the chain, and then I'm going to hand file after. These are all separate tests. And then I'm going to remove the gullet. That way I can see the difference of hand file with the rakers or depth gauge, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm going to see the difference between the removal of the gullet and see which one's faster out of those two. But I want to see is stock out of the box just as fast safety chain, or does it have more drag because of the little safety parts? So I'm going to go over what a safety chain is with you guys. So basically, there's a couple different types of safety chain. There is, like, this is a form of safety chain. So let's see if you can see. So right here, you have the tooth. Then you have the little raker or depth gauge right there. And then you have this little sled portion. Now that's on this, on the back of that link. So it's not just depth gauge, raker, and tooth. You have a little slide. And why this is important is it helps cut down a kickback area, which is here on your chain. So it's from here to about here. So that's where your chain, the inertia of it kind of changes. So the chain's direction goes, and if you hit it, if the wood bites right there, it'll flick the bar up, right? So if it bites right here, it's not gonna flick it up, it's gonna pull it down. So that's where it changes, that little zone. So you wanna be cautious of that. Kickback happens, you just want to make sure you're holding your chainsaw correctly and do what you can. Man, I gotta clean my garage. Don't look at that. But anyway, so this is one type, and what happens with the safety chain is when you get around the kickback zone, it puts a little extra little lip right there, so it gives it a little bit more. It gives it almost like a second raker. So it slides even more off, right here. It slides even more before it hits that tooth. So it's almost acts like a second little raker or second little depth gauge, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's a stock chain. So here, I'll show you here. This is out of the box. This is what you would buy, if you're at Home Depot for your Echo chainsaw. So it's the same. I think it's made by Oregon. Oh, it actually doesn't have it on there. Oh, it does have it. See right here? So that's your depth gauge or raker, and then that's your little safety chain part. So what that does, you see, it hides back there. So it acts as a little extra sled, so it can slide off. So yeah, it's on the stock chain, which is Oregon chain. So don't, find out what chain fits your bar and saw and stuff, and just buy that. You don't have to pay for the Echo name. if it's more expensive. It may be cheaper, I don't know. So here's another type. This is on my Makita. So you have tooth, right? Tooth depth gauge right here, the silver part. And then you have, so that's the depth gauge or raker. And then you have this part. That's a safety chain, raker or depth gauge, whatever you want to call it, or sled. And then there's another, it's like another raker type thing. And sometimes they'll have it, the different styles they have like a bumper on the drive link. So that's kind of like this. So like a little bumper, or you can call it like a sled. That's kind of how the Echo chain is. It only has that part. This one has an extra safety part. Then they have like a ramped, so that'll be like this. They have something like that, so it's longer, or it'll even be, you know, sloped even more. Then they have an extra ramped, and then they have a double strapped. Now these are all terms that I'm making. I'm making these terms myself because I don't know the correct name. But the double strapped would be, see this little strap? It's actually a single strap. So this piece would be, basically they'd be connected at the top. But it looks like that, but connected. Sometimes there's a hole right here. Sometimes there's not. But a lot of people are like, hey, you know, these safety chains are really slow through the wood because you have all that extra drag. So that's what I kind of want to test. And I could easily test it with a different chain, but I kind of want to test it with the same chain. That way I know, like, hey, this is the same chain. I know for a fact which one's slower and faster. And if I had to guess, I'm going to guess without safety chain, the aspects of the safety part on this safety chain, that it's going to be faster without it. In my opinion. But do I know that? No. Do I want to have fun? Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. So let's get to it. I got to do a couple cuts. Alright, this is not something that I would recommend trying, but this is for educational purposes. All right, so basically I'm taking it from this to this, and then I gotta file these down so they're not, you know, sharp. But that's what I'm doing. So be careful, especially with the grinder, guys. And a cutoff wheel. Use the guard if you have it. I don't have the guard anymore, but I'm extra careful. And I don't do cuts that dig it, you know, to sit there and dig it straight in. You want to do, you know, light little cuts. That way you don't put pressure on it. All right, guys, I'm all done. It was kind of a tedious process. I didn't count all of them and I didn't collect all of them, but I got a good bit over here. That's the safety part cut off. So here's what we got. Now I just have to file it down so it's not, you know, little sharp cuttings, you know, all over. And what I did is some teeth I hit a couple on accident, which is no problem because I'm just using this chain as a test. But I tried to stay off the tie straps here as much as possible and just focus on that. But some of these teeth did get hit on the backside. But you can notice like some of the tie straps are a little bit hit. So this chain is not ideal for, you know, if you're gonna daily drive this chain. But for testing, it'll be okay. So yeah, I'm gonna get to filing this thing real quick. And I'll show you guys a little bit of what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take this file. It's kind of a little file, and just any sharp little edge that I have, I'm just gonna file it. Doesn't have to be, you know, perfect, because this part isn't, it's not hitting the wood. So I just mainly, if I'm handling this with my bare hand, I don't want to get, you know, a sharp thing right there. Raker or depth gauge, whatever you want to call it. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, the wood I'm cutting is, I don't know how many inches it is, but my bar is a 20-inch bar. So however much you lose with these Domar dogs, you know, that's what you're looking at. And this is I think it's water oak, so it's pretty high on the hardness. So alright guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand file the chain. So I'm going to get this filed up. I'm not going to take you with me on the filing journey because it's going to take me a while. Not that it's bad, but some of them they have a okay shape. but some of them are weird looking, so who knows how long it's gonna take me. And this isn't a filing video, so just telling you what I'm doing, and then I'll be back. All right, I got her all sharpened up. It's about 30 degree. Oops, sorry. It's about 30 degrees on the filing, and it's just an Oregon breaker gauge setting. I think it's 0.20 on the depth for it. But yeah, it took a while to get them all, you know, in shape. Let's finish the test, guys. Man, that's a good looking saw, dude. I don't care what anyone thinks. I like it. All right, it's the same log. I just rolled it over. Let me see. Definitely faster. We just got one more test, and that's to hog out the gullet real quick, and then I'll be back. All right, I filed the gullets. Now, I didn't make it like a race chain or anything, but they're from the factory. They had like a little extra in there, and these aren't perfect, but it's just basically making, here's a good one, here's an example right here. So this one had like a point to it in the middle where they just like a file went in from the factory, or how they ground it from the factory. So I just cleaned that up. I'm not hogging it down, you know, all the way into the tie strap or anything. This is just normal, practical homeowner enthusiast type of deal. Hey, so the conclusion of the video, guys. So I would say, if you want to make your safety chain, make it faster, don't get a safety chain. So safety chain stock out of the box was 30 seconds, 30.5, right?
And then we have number 2 was safety portion cut off of the chain. That was 26.7, right? Then in third, we have the hand filed plus rakers with the gullet removed. That came in last. I'm pretty sure that if you're gonna file the gullet, it's either I should have filed the gullet first, but that would kind of defeat what I was trying to do in the test. But if you're gonna file the gullet, file it first and then file your chain. That's maybe what happened. Or maybe I dogged in the chainsaw more that time, so it wasn't as fast as, you know, just the hand filed with the rakers. But anyway, sorry, my dogs are tic-tacking around. But anyway, that's my kind of conclusion. So before I use that chain again, I'm going to, I don't even know if I'm going to use it again. But if I were, I'm going to sharpen it. Just hit it quickly. And then that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, the conclusion is if you want to make your, you know, chainsaw safety chain a little, you know, faster, don't use it. Use a regular chain. But I do understand the appeal of a safety chain because little baby woke up. Maybe I'll go back to sleep. I do understand the safety, you know, like say you're teaching somebody who's never used a chainsaw, or you're bucking a lot of firewood and it's really tight, you know, quarters, that kind of thing. It would be beneficial. So, do I like it? I don't mind it, but I like to cut as fast as I possibly can. So, I'll stick with hand file and filing the rakers on a regular chain, guys. So, that's the conclusion.